Alright, so here's the new brewery. Got the glass doors. One there for the 7-gallon batches, and another one over here for the 14-liter Chronicle. Yeah, these babies are rated for down to 2 degrees up to 10, and of course with the heat belt like this one over here, it'll maintain quite nicely anywhere I want it. So yeah, that's the new brew stand. Shorten it up a bit. There was a question from Cal from the Electric Brewery about whether or not, if one of these kettles were full, if it would tip over or not. And it's a galvanized steel table. It's extremely heavy, and I have stood on the end of over here and it will not tilt. I've stood over there and it will not tilt that way, so it's pretty good to go. Alright, let's get started. Hey guys, and happy Homebrew Wednesday. Thanks for stopping by. I am drinking up on my Citra Passion that I brewed up with Gunnar. It's tasting really nice, it's smelling really nice. It has darkened a little bit in color, but of course this was brewed back in July. It's definitely got some age on it, but it's definitely somewhere between an IPA and a pale ale. Anyways, gonna dive in. Cheers! Oh. Tastes really nice, still holding up really well. I really like that recipe. So this week it hasn't been too busy. I haven't been doing too much brew related. However, I have done a little bit of work here inside the brewery. You can see the 14-gallon Chronicle over there. I've actually kegged up the Monterey Street Pale Ale that's in the Keezer carbon up right now. I also kegged up the parti-gyle, what I'm calling the full ton small. Don't know why the mash tun was full, but it was a parti-gyle, so it's basically a small representation of what the Imperial Stout was supposed to be. Anyways, long story short, I kegged it up. It's carbon. Tasted fantastic. I got a couple notes on these beers. Let me go ahead and show you just a bit of footage of kegging these beers up. And there's a bit of a taste in here, so stand on by. Cheers. with the kegging up of the Monterey Street, and so here is kegging up the parti-gyle. Alright, so here is the dark mild. Let's go ahead and just get it into a glass. I think you can see just how sort of dark that is. It's a very nice dark brown. Alright, so you saw the color in the hydrometer. Beautiful dark color. Let's go ahead and get the aroma. It's got a light roastiness to it with the light hint of chocolate. That's about all I'm getting off it. Let's go ahead and dive in. Cheers. Very smooth, very light roastiness to it, and then a light layer of like unsweetened chocolate. This one finished out about 10-11, between 10-11 and 10-12. So I'd say about 11.5. Puts it right about 4.6 to 4.7% ABV. You know, this is kind of really like a nice light porter, but even so, I would dare to put it into like a strong mild. In terms of flavor, check this out. This was kindly given to me by Harry Brewer 69. This is the North Knots Drinker. It's Campaign for Real Ale, so the camera publication that they have up in their area. He sent this to me when he sent me the beers after we had brewed up the Norseman together. But there's this article in here for like real ale beer styles. And this one really does fit in with the mild. You look at a mild on that poster there for real ale, real variety. Mild is way down there near the really dark area, right in between bitters and stouts or porters. And based on the color that we saw in the hydrometer, it really is kind of dark. In terms of the description, I like what they say in here. Mild is one of the most traditional beer styles which has enjoyed a revival in today's real ale market. Usually dark brown in color due to the use of well-roasted malts or barley, it is less hopped than bitters and often has a chocolatey character with nutty or burnt flavors. And I definitely get that chocolatey nuttiness. That nuttiness is almost like a coconutty nuttiness, right? So it's just that unsweetened chocolate with a little bit of like that unsweetened coconut. Nutty. Really kind of nice. Now, definitely, I did not go through the normal way to build a mild or to brew a mild than you normally would. This was the second run-ins from the Imperial Stout, which is still fermenting in the fridge. I went ahead and I put this into a keg, and now it's in the keezer, starting to carb up. So hopefully it'll be ready to experience carbonated in a few days. So that's the parti-gyle. Alright, so I went ahead and also took a sample and tasting of the Imperial Stout, and I'm really surprised about just how far it's come in such a short period of time. So here it is, check this out. Okay, so as you saw, I just took a sample of the Imperial Stout. Here it is. Wow, that looks chocolatey from where I am standing. Right now it's about 10:32, which started off at about 1.120. That puts it now at 12%. Wow. Okay, and it's still bubbling. I'm gonna go ahead and just let it ride. It's only been about a week and a half since this thing was brewed. So that dropped pretty quickly, had a very good viable yeast inside it, and it still continued to bubble. I hear it probably about once a minute or so. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this continue for probably at least another week in primary, and then make a determination what to do with it. But let's go ahead and pour this into a glass. This is the same glass I just had that mild in. But you can see just how chocolatey that looks. Of course, there is some yeast in there. Now this fermented at 18 degrees Celsius for 10 days. And then I just bumped it up to 20 degrees Celsius 2 days ago. Despite that fermentation at cool temperatures, I definitely get some heat on the aroma. It's like a chocolatey liqueur sort of aroma. I'm gonna take a sip. Look at that, sort of clinging to the glass there. Diving in, cheers. Full body, chocolatey. Less alcohol on the flavor. I really like that one. Not too much more to say about it, really. It's got some chocolatey roasting to it, but it's smooth. It's not harsh or astringent at all. I don't get any of those funky like licorice, black licorice flavors or anything like that. I was trying to avoid that at all costs. I like the flavor on this. I like how it's developed so far. I'm gonna really enjoy seeing how that evolves over the course of the next month or so. But there it is. That's the Imperial Stout. Tasting for the Imperial Stout. Cheers. So there you go. I am so psyched to see how that Imperial Stout finally turns out in the end. It was tasting really, really nice. I know it needs some age. I think it's going to be a fantastic Christmas beer, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. At this moment, I want to go ahead and do a little bit of something I've never really done before, and that is respond directly in video to some of the feedback I've had over the course of the last videos. So the first one is from Pim. He says, "Hi there, great video and even better looking beers. I'm just wondering, how do you get the bottle conditioning beer so clear after just 3 weeks in the bottle? I'm still struggling with that myself. Any tips?" Well, the beer that he's talking about, of course, is the Sticky Brown that I had a tasting on just a few days ago when I was at the cabin. So let me go ahead and finish this here real quick and show you that brown ale. Let's pour it out. I'm really impressed with the way these things got bottle conditioned. Yeah, there we go. Not too aggressive. But there she is. You can see through it, looking really nice. It's got some really good color on it. All right, let's go ahead, shine a little bit of light on the situation. The light is really kind of dim actually, so kind of bear with me. So you can see it's really crystal clear. There's almost no haze to it at all. Bubbles are streaming up. Carbonation is just sticking around for days. Got a really nice pillowy head. But there you go. It's really, really nice. How do I get it so clear in a bottle? Bottle condition in just after 3 weeks? To be honest, I don't know for sure. I think it's more having to do with the Nottingham yeast. Seems to flocculate really well, and in the bottom of the bottle it's really compact. The carbonation is not extreme, you know, overcarbonated. I think it's maybe around 2.1 CO2 pressure. Beautiful aroma. Cheers. Beautiful, nice, light fall sort of aromas to it and flavor. Hint of roast, hint of sweetness to it. Just really, really, really enjoying this one. Really nice and crisp and dry on the finish. In the back end, it's got a really nice little caramelly sort of note, but it finishes really clean and dry. If we take a look at the bottle, let's see, get some light here. Even the bottle is staying really clear. If you look, can't really see at the bottom. If you can, you know, you can't really see the sediment there, but there is sediment. The sediment seems to really, you know, stay compact and settled. It's not floating up and rising with the carbonation. So maybe it has something to do with these bottles. These are 500 milliliter bottles. If I was to put my money on it, I would say it's the Nottingham yeast. I don't know, have you others out there that are maybe watching this video, have you seen the same effect with Nottingham yeast? If you have, please comment down below. If you haven't, if you've had like cloudy bottled beers from Nottingham yeast, you know, let us know. And then at least I can rule that out. But yeah. Okay, so another feedback I got was from Black Dog Brewery. He says, very interesting, Tony, to hear that you used grains that were left in the mash tun for another brew. So he's referring to the parti-gyle. He says, I've always felt pretty guilty when the final run-ins were so high and wanted to do a parti-gyle, but didn't have enough time or whatever it was in the brew day. So he asks, what's the specific gravity on the end of run-ins of the Imperial Stout before deciding to use the grains for another brew? To be honest, I don't really remember. I may have actually had it in that long 6+ hour brew day video. I was taking a lot of gravity readings throughout the day, so it's probably in there. I do know, all I know is really what the specific gravity was when I finished collecting run-ins for the parti-gyle was at 1010. It didn't fall below that. I think when I took a gravity sample, I think it was upwards of around 1055, 1065, somewhere in that sort of ballpark. That's a big ballpark, but it was somewhere high up, and I was like, you know what? I gotta do it. I gotta do it. So I did it, and yeah, I can give you the numbers for what the pre-boil gravity was. Actually, no, I can't. I know that the pre-boil gravity ended up, I think it was at 1037, and I added in enough hops in order to reach 25 IBUs in that 30-minute period. And so the specific gravity, or the original gravity, was 1047, 1.047. The pH on that one was 5.45. By this time, you've already seen the video that I just played, showing you the actual parti-gyle. It's done. It's in the keg. It's carbon up. I'm really happy with it. It's tasting very close to a mild, and I'm really looking forward to actually seeing what it's like carved up and how it tastes then. So that's all there is to that. Cheers. 17 Black Dog Brewery. I got another question from the Syrup Boy, and this was on the announcement for the hop competition. So if you haven't seen it, I'm giving away 5 kilos of hops, and I'll put the link to the video here or there. You'll see it. Basically, if you want some free hops, go ahead, watch that video, or at least just comment on that video. No need to watch it. The Syrup Boy asked, I'm assuming that the competition is not for the US. The competition is global. Wherever you are in the world, whatever it costs me to get you 5 kilograms of hops, I am going to make sure that you get those hops. What can I say? I like to share. So Stats Brewing posted a question on the malt, the hot steeping video that I posted. And he was asking, hey, he was planning to do something like this next week. Dude, where's your video? I'm waiting for it. He was also under the impression that you were meant to cut the dark malts, you know, on a 75 to 25 ratio with base malts for evaluation in a beer, and then 50-50 with amber and crystal malts with base malts. And you're right on the money. You really definitely should do that according to Breeze's guidelines that they put out there. With the roasted grains, it was 15% actually. So, yep, you really should, but I did go all in. Tried it both ways. I wasn't really trying to evaluate it for a specific beer. I wanted to evaluate it on a grain per grain basis. And I probably could have done that with base grains as well. And yeah, but I didn't. So that's all for the feedback this week. That's really about all I have going on, really brew-wise. I don't have anything planned on the horizon. But I can tell you this, it's not going to be a brute IPA or anything on the trends. No kettle sours. In fact, I have to check in on my Brett Saison, and then also the one that's with the Cantillon Dregs. I got to check in on that and see how that's doing. Speaking of trending, I see that Mike Dean's hop experiment is going on. Now, Mike was kind enough to share with me the recipe for his old school double IPA. And that's basically the base recipe everyone is using for this hop experiment going on, the trifecta something something. I don't have an IPA in the Keezer. I do have a pale ale. The Monterey Street's in there. It's kegging up. The Citra Passion is like gonna keg probably within half a glass or so. And so I really need an IPA. And his old school recipe looks like a really good classic that I would want to have on tap. So I'm probably going to put, that's really on the short list. I know it sounds like I keep saying that, but it's so close, Mike, I promise. Finally, I want to leave you guys with a big shout out to Steve Ogden. He's known as the Heathen Brewer. He had a fire at his house in the last week and a half. Completely destroyed everything. His boy even got burned in the fire. Had started a GoFundMe page for him. So I'll go ahead and put a link for that down in the description. It was so overwhelming to see the support from the community. There was a 2,000 pound pledge. They've exceeded that. More than 100 people have contributed to it. So many familiar names from the community. And wow, just overwhelmingly positive to see a lot of people from around the world that have never possibly even met each other in person donating to a cause for something like this. So wow, my heart goes out to you, Steve. I really wish the best for you and your family, and hope that thing goes really well for your son in the future. Beyond that, guys, that's all that's going on in my neck of the woods. I hope you guys are having a hell of a week and have a better weekend. So cheers.